This is Becky Cravens-Wait, the Software Development Manager for Zumasys. We'd like to thank you for your interest in the MultiValue Dashboard product, and we're excited to offer you the one-user MultiValue Dashboard license and 25 reports that are ready to run for free. In this video, I'm going to show you how to download and configure the dashboard, and then how to configure the reports for your database. First, let me tell you a little bit about the MultiValue Dashboard. This product is a lightweight web server that runs on your database system, so there's no need to move your data or perform nightly updates to get your data ready to use in this reporting tool. So the reports will be as up-to-date as the data in your system every time you run them. Before we get started, let's go ahead and collect some information about your system that we're going to need to get it set up. So we need to know the IP address or the DNS name of your MultiValue server. Also, what operating system are you running and what version? Is it Windows, AIX, or Linux? And then which MultiValue database do you have? Are you running a Universe system or a D3 or possibly jBASE or OpenQM? And then what version is that? Also, make sure you have access to your security for firewall settings because the MultiValue Dashboard runs on a port on your MultiValue system, and we're going to need to open that up so that we can access the dashboard. So once you have all that ready, let's get started. Okay, so the next step of this process is to go to the Zumasys.com downloads page and then scroll down to the bottom where it says MV Dashboard and click on the Request Demo button. Now you're going to fill all this out. Make sure you fill everything out that's required or it's going to delay the delivery of your key. And so you'll go through a CAPTCHA and have to match some pictures up and then click the submit button. And when you're successful, you will get this message. And then Jill Orsini will contact you back and she will give you your key. Okay, so we're back on the Zumasys.com downloads page and scroll down to the MV Dashboard. And now you're going to download either the AIX or the Linux version of this installer. And so click on the version you like and it's going to download that file onto your system. So I've already done that and here is my file. I can hover over that and see that file name. So it's MV Dashboard server, the version number x86 linux.bin, and the .bin file is your Unix executable file. Okay, so the next steps on this is to move that file over and then install it on your system. So we already downloaded the Unix install file from the browser, so you've got that. The next thing you do is move that file from your Windows system to your Linux system. And you can do that with FTP, SFTP, WinSCP. If you've got a Samba share, you can do that, drop it on that directory, or you can move it manually from one to the other if you have a way to do that. Once you have that on your system, I put it in the temp directory, then you can log into your MultiValue database and do the install. So using Accuterm or whatever terminal emulator you have, you're going to need to log in with root or super user access. Then we'll go to the temp directory, we'll change the permissions on the file, we'll run the file, accept the EULA, and then we'll be able to install Dashboard. So I'll run you through all that and show you how to do it, so don't worry about that. So here's a few things you need to know to get this installed. And so it's going to ask us what our target directory is. You can absolutely take the default user local mvapp serve. Then it's going to want a port number to run on. So you'll need to either take our default, which is 8180, or take any port that's available on your system. You will need to open the firewall so that we can access that port. You won't be able to run your dashboard until you have that opened up. We're going to need to know what Unix user is associated with your MultiValue database, and if you don't have xinetd installed, this will fail. So you'll need to install that with the yum package if you don't already have it. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to my system and show you from login how to get started on this. This is my system. I'm just going to go ahead and log in as root. And then I'm going to get to my temp directory. And then I'm going to do an ls-la to list the files there. So the file that I'm looking for is this MB Dashboard server, like I showed you when we downloaded it. So I have taken that from my Windows system. I have used WinSCP to move it onto this Linux system, and now it's ready to roll. We don't have permission to execute it, so we're going to need to do that. So I'm going to do a chmod on this, a+x, and the name of the file. Okay, so now if I do an ls-la, you can see that now we have execute permission for this file. So the next thing to do is just execute it. /MB Dashboard, and I should be able to get to this point and hit the tab button, and it brings the file name up. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter there. Okay, so now we're installing. So this is going to need that information that I told you that we needed up front. So the installation directory, the TCP port number, the Unix user for your MB database, and then it's going to make some updates to your system. So it's going to put the application server and package data in your installation directory. The etc services file is going to be updated for the app server service on that port that you specified. And then we're going to change, put an entry into the xinetd configuration so you can enable the app server. So everything, after we go through this process of installing, everything else you do, starting with configuring the dashboard, will happen from the web browser. So once this is all installed, you won't come back into Linux and do anything. You'll go straight to the web browser, and then we'll show you how to get into it from that point. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go, install the process, start the installation process. So here's your end user licensing agreement, and you're just going to read through this, hit the space bar to get the next page, continue on until you get to the end. And then if you are wanting to install, you need to type in yes. Okay. And then it wants you to tell us where to install it. You can accept the default by hitting enter. This one already exists because I've done it before, so I'm just going to say yes, I want to use this directory. And then it's going to put a log file directory out there as well, and that just goes in that same directory. So again, you could take the default by hitting enter. And then here's the port number, the TCP port that you're going to want to run on. So again, our default's 8180. I'm going to use that one. And then I'm going to say yes. Okay. And then, so then you need to select a user. So if you're running D3, you're going to need to know which user ID has privileges to invoke the database, the D3 database. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter for root, and then I'm going to say yes. Okay, so here's the summary of what's going to happen. So here's your installation directory, your log directory, the TCP port you're running on, and the user that we're going to install as. So I'm going to say yes to begin the installation. And so that's going to run. It happens pretty fast. That's all done. You can see xinetd worked because we have it installed here. And then what it's telling you is it's going to restart the xinetd service. So we're going to say yes. Okay, and now it's done. So now it's telling you we're going to go on the web browser to finish this up. If you have a firewall, you're going to need to open that port. Again, we use the default of 8180. It's whatever port you used. And then this is going to be important for you. So the URL to start configuring your software is http:// and then your server name or IP address. So if you're using a DNS name, put the DNS name there, colon, and then the port number, 8180 for us, /config. And that's going to take you into the configuration page. We have a default username and password. Admin is the username, admin is the password. And so once you get in there, you'll need to know those things. You can change those later, so don't worry about that. That can all be done in the configuration. Okay, so here's the next step. Like I said, open your browser and finish the configuration. In the browser bar, you're going to type in your host IP or the name, port number, /config, username admin, password admin. Okay, so I'm in my web browser and I have typed in the address of my server, 8180 /config, and it is prompting me for my user name and password. So I'm just going to put in admin and click sign in. And that brings you up to the dashboard. You're probably going to want to change the admin login. And if you do, you're just going to click on the admin area. And then you can see here's the user admin right here. And this is the edit button. You can click on that. And right here, you can change the password. So anytime you want to do that, feel free to do that. Okay, returning to the dashboard. Okay, the portal dashboard is where the free reports are going to show up for you. And so these are the reports that are pre-configured. There's no programming required to use them. You just connect them to your system using the configuration, and then they will run for you automatically. So with this install, we have shipped sample data so that you can see the dashboard running. And so now that I've clicked on the portal dashboard, you'll see it's out there and it's doing some updating. So it's going out to the sample data that we've already supplied for you, so you can see the dashboard running, and it's doing an update. Now this may take a minute, it may take 5, depends on how fast your system is. We've included enough data for you to see kind of a year-over-year comparison of data. So there is a bit of data here. And so this is going to take just a second. So we'll let it go ahead and update, and we'll take a look at the documentation. So the portal dashboard documentation is going to give you all the information about running the dashboard reports. So you can take a look at that. It's going to tell you what to do. It's going to explain some of the dashboard reports that we have here, or how to get to them. And then click the back button here to go back to the previous page. Here is the portal reports setup documentation, which we're going to go through in just a minute, but this is going to tell you all of the detailed information about how to set up the portal to use your data. And it's right here in the documentation. And then the last thing is a glossary of the dashboard reports. And this is going to tell you what you're going to be able to expect to see. So these are all the reports that are going to be available to you once this is installed for your system. All right, let's take a look and see what the progress is here. Okay, great. Dashboard's ready to go. Okay, so this is just a table view of data. So we're looking at your sales, gross profit, and margin. So depending on where you're getting your data, this could be up to date, or how you're doing your invoicing. This could be up to date to the minute, or it could be to the day. So a lot of companies wait until the end of the day and then run invoices. So what you'll be seeing is sales from through the previous day. But if you invoice throughout the day, every time you refresh this dashboard, you will see up-to-date data based on invoice sales. So this is the gross profit, there's your margin, and then down here is your AR and AP balances. So you've got your current and then all the aging buckets with the total of your accounts receivable and accounts payable. Each one of these things that's orange is a clickable link. So I'm going to take you down into the sales reports. And what you're going to see is the very first thing that comes up is month-to-date sales. So this is a sales by day, total sales and gross profit. It gives you the total up here of sales, total of gross profit, and then you can see the breakdown here by date. Down here in the bottom is the key to this map, to this chart. And what you're going to be able to do here is you can click off any of these or all of them. So that you're not seeing things that you don't want to see, or if you're trying to declutter your display in your chart, then you can just see what you want to see. So this is the only drill down that's available for sales. Up to this point, you can make some of these things clickable in charts, but these are not. So this is the bottom view that you're getting here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the rest of the reports that are available here. So the next one is a year-to-date sales and you have to click on the Go button. Once you do that, it's going to go out and get that for you. So by month, year-to-date sales, it's the same thing. We're going to see sales and gross profit. The chart has the same option here, clicking on or off those things. And then you can start to scroll down into these things and just see what data is available. Now, if you did collect salesman data and you put that in, you'll be able to run these salesman reports. Remember to click Go when you do it. And so what it's going to go is, is give you year-to-year sales by salesman. So here's a salesman, here's a salesman, here's a salesman. And then you can go down here and look at the key and see that's 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is accumulating up to 5 years of data. If you have 5 years of data in your system, we can do that. If you're only wanting to see a couple of these years, again, remember you can click off of this and just see this year versus last year, or whatever it is you want to see by salesman. Here's by region and by branch. If you have this data and you've collected it in the configuration, you're going to be able to see this. If you did not put this data in your configuration, you won't get these options for running by branch or by region. Okay, so let's go back and just click on the back button here. It's going to take you back. And we'll go back to the beginning. And now you can look at gross profit and the same thing. So there's different gross profit reports. These are the same reports, but it's basically going to give you the gross profit percentage or numbers, values. Now this is going to give you percentage. And this is just one report year over year, what your gross profit margin is for each year and what the average is. And then here is the aging of your system. And so these charts are a little bit different. These are pie charts as opposed to bar charts. So you can look at your accounts receivable. You can see here's the total AR balance. And here is the percentage. If you hover over that, it'll show you that 35.91% is current, and that's the balance. 39.28% is in 1 to 30 days past due, and then you can go through that and look. If you click on these, it kind of pulls the pie chart out for you, so you can see maybe what that looks like. So that's your AR balance. Here's the same thing for AP. It's going to give you the percentage and the total dollar amount. So you can look at average days by year, and that's going to show you average days to pay and for year over year. So you can see, am I getting better? Are my customers getting better at paying? Are they getting worse at paying? And you may see a difference this year in just the last few months. So you can see there's some other average days reports here. And if you're looking at the last 12 months, this may be the most relevant for you in the days of the coronavirus. So you can start to see if, during this time, if your customers have started to pay slower, which you may be seeing. Here is another report, customers needing aging attention. So I'm going to click on Go there. And what this is showing you is the customers with the most owed, the customers with the most days aged, and then any customer with a significant aging increase. This data is randomized, so we're not going to see anything in this column for our sample data, but you may see something. So if a customer is generally paying in the current column, but then in the last couple of months, you're seeing them pay in the 30 to 60 or 90 day column, then you'll see those customers here if they have a significant aging increase. So this is customers with the most amount owed. So you can see here's a customer who owes $34,000, but it's only aged 31 days. But here's one with $27,000 aged 162 days. So you can go through that data and make some decisions. And then here's the 50 with the most days aged. So by descending, most days aged and then what they owe. So hopefully this will help you make some decisions about how you're running your business these days. So just hitting the back button until I get back to the front, and that is the total number of reports that's available here. So back to the portal report setup. So this is where the data comes from, and we are showing you sample data. So when you're wanting to configure your database, then you're going to need to know where your data lives in your multi-value system. So here's our sales files account. We have all those sample data in the MVDB account for you. So your data is going to be someplace else. And then the name of the sales file will probably be different. So we're calling our sales, you may call yours AR invoice. It could be invoices. It could be, sales, whatever. So whatever the name of that file is, you'll need to put that there. And then you'll need to know the dictionary names for the date of the sale, the month of the sale, the year of the sale, the total amount, the total cost. And then if you keep track of sales rep, branch, and region, you can put those here. If you do not, those reports by rep, branch, and region will not be available for you. And so you're going to set these up for each one of these areas. So here's sales, here's AR. So you'll need to know what your AR account name is, what your AR file is, and then the due date, paid date, invoice amount, balance, and customer name dictionaries are. And the same thing for your accounts payable. And so once you enter this data into the configuration and click on the Go button, it's going to go out there and validate that this is a correct account, this is a correct file, and that it can get to all these dictionaries and collect that data for you. We have a couple of issues here because we don't have rep name, branch, and region obviously defined correctly. So, and then this is the same way. We obviously don't have the dictionary item called cust defined correctly, but you'll see those things. If you have problems with them, it's going to tell you, and then you'll be able to correct those things. So that's how you set it up. Once you click the Go button, it's going to check things, and then it's going to be able to populate your dashboard. So once this configuration is done for your system and you've validated that everything is correct, then you can go back to the portal dashboard, and then it should refresh this data for you. If not, you can always click on the refresh button here, and it will go back out and accumulate that data. The other thing, tell you about this auto refresh really quickly. If you want to leave this dashboard up and then you want to be able to check on it throughout the day, you can just tell it to refresh every so often. So let's say you want it to refresh every hour because you're invoicing throughout the day. You can go ahead and slide that slider up, and what's going to happen is it's just going to automatically refresh the page every hour so that your data is up to date. And then it's going to tell you, here's the last time I did it. Well, that concludes the install and configuration demo, and we are always here to help you. We hope that these reports help you. If you need some assistance getting things set up, you can contact us via email at dashboard@zumasys.com. You can contact me directly, Becky C@zumasys.com. And if you go on the Zumasys webpage, you'll be able to see the staff pictures. You'll be able to get contact information. And please feel free to reach out to us with any questions or issues that you have. If you do want to upgrade your dashboard to run for more than one user, you can do that. It's a paid dashboard at that point in time, but you can run 5, 10, 20 users, whatever you need to do. And so we're happy to help you out with that as well. Wish you the best. I hope this works out great for you. And please contact us and let us know if we can help you with anything.